I've been experimenting again. Join me and find out what I've done. Hey guys, so I did start filming this yesterday, but apparently I don't have the footage, which is really frustrating. So I've started doing a second seashell and crystal, because I'm doing another one of those shell trinket trays. So what I did was I got some sand. I used the fine sand from Resin MUST, the same one as I did last time, this fine dune sand. Get it in camera. And then I used some coarser sand, which is what these sort of like the rockier bits are. And all I did was I got one of my small cups, put the cup upside down, and just tipped the shell ever so slightly at an angle. So it's just like that, lifting it off, so that the sand would seep into the gaps and stay along this bottom corner. So now I can lay it flat and do the water, and it won't change where the sand is. I also did the entire crystal using the sand rather than having some water on it. So I am going to be carrying on with that today. And I'll show you this because I'm doing a second one. I've got a mother and daughter commission. So this is for the mum, and then the daughter, rather than having sand, is having glittery sand. So I can show you the same process with that. And hopefully this time I'll press record. The joys of technology when your brain is all over the place. So yes, I'm going to do the water today, and I'll bring you along and show you, and we'll come back at the end. Okie dokie, so I've mixed up my resin as I normally would, and then I've split it into 4 colours this time. So I've done a dark blue, a light blue, I then mixed a bit of each together to make a medium blue, and then I've got the green as well. So we're doing darker towards the sort of point as further away from the sand as possible, putting some blobs of green in, and then adding the lighter blue, and we're just going to give that a little bit of a mix because we want to sort of get a gradient of blues. So there you go, you can see there are just noticeably 3 different blues, and that was sort of what I wanted to get. So I'm just making sure that the sea is reaching all the way down to the bottom, that we don't have any large air bubbles. And yes, I have to agree with my earlier point. Doing this separate to the sand makes it so much easier, because I can move it around and I know that sand isn't going to go anywhere. I'm just moving the water, the sea around, which yeah, is absolutely brilliant. A much easier way, in my opinion, to create these shells. So this is the mother version with 2 different types of sand and our sea, and then we're going to do a daughter version which is the same but with these 2 glitters. So again, the fine sand, and then this is the coarser sand. It's just some natural aquarium sand. So mixed up the resin, I'm going to scoop some of this sand into the resin. I'm then going to pour some of the fine sand in to the resin, and then we're going to add a bit of each glitter as well, and then I'm going to mix that up, which actually by the end was quite hard to mix because of all the sand and bits in it. But yeah, so I'm going to fill up our crystal. I started by filling up a large crystal and then I remembered that we weren't doing the large crystal for the daughter, so I went and got a smaller crystal, which you can see there. Unfortunately I didn't record, but it's the same thing, I just poured it in. Now to put the sand in, as you can see, I've tipped the shell on its side and I'm just pulling that lip open so that I can push the sand down into that space. And then just using a lolly stick, I'm just sort of ensuring it goes all the way down and is in all the gaps. This did spread a little bit further than I originally wanted on one of the sides, as you can see there over on the right hand side, but it's not really a problem. So there's our 2 crystals, our large one and our small one, which was, oh, it was a fiddle to get out, but I got there eventually. And then we're going to look at doing the same sea, so the dark blue, the lighter blue and the green in the water, to give it the same impression as darker it gets further away from shore. Give it a bit of a blast with our heat tool, and then we're going to leave this to cure. So each time between the sand and the sea there was 24 hours, because I wanted to make sure that the sand was cured. And here we go, pop out our crystals. I had some sea left over, so I made a couple of sea coloured crystals, and then we're going to demould this beauty as well. So I've got both shells. I've got my opaque white here mixed in with some resin, which is going to make our waves. This stuff makes incredible sails, it's gorgeous. So I'm going to do a little layer of clear resin and then some of the white resin over the top. And having that clear resin just helps the white to form those cells when you hit it with the heat gun. So as you can see, straight away it starts to foam up. Now on the side of this one, once I've finished blowing that, you'll see there is a little bit of white that got up the side of the dish. So I'm just going to wipe that off because we don't want the foam up there. And then I did add on a little too much, so I did just wipe off a little bit of the tissue. Then we're going to add on our seashells, our starfish first, so one up and one face down. Then we're going to add on our shells, and I tried to do sort of a mix of light and dark shells on each one. And then we're going to add a little bit more of the clear resin just to secure our crystals in place. And I did have to double check a couple of times to make sure I was putting the right gem, the right crystal on the right dish. And what I decided to do was to make them sort of mirror images. So I moved all of the starfish and shells over on Mum's one so it mirrors. Okie dokie guys, so I am back to show you our completed shell pieces. So this is a mother and daughter set that I was commissioned to make, and we decided to go with a smaller crystal and some glitter in the sand for the daughter's shell. So I will start with that one. So here is that. So we've got a thinner crystal, which will obviously hold thinner rings for the little lady. And in the sand we have a combination. So we have the fine sand, the coarser sand, and two different glitters, which I think is absolutely lovely. And then with the liquid, the water, so you've got the two blues and the green mixed in there. And then we've got two starfish, one each way up, three little shells, and our crystal. So there is daughter's. And then we move on to Mum's. So we've got the fine and coarse sand, same, but without the glitter. We have the larger crystal. And then again with the water we've got the two blues and the green mixed through it. And we've got the two starfish and then three little shells. And again the larger of the two crystals. So let me pop these down and you can see them together. There we go. So yeah, this is my matching collection for mother and daughter. So I did learn a couple of things. First one, doing the sand separately, standing up on an angle worked really, really well because we get this lovely end of sand, whereas on the one that I created for myself, it all went in together and it didn't have quite as obvious a shoreline, shall we say. So yeah, that's those. That was some good experimenting. I like using the coarse and the fine sand. I think if you look, especially along here, you've got so much more interest. It's still smooth. It's very smooth. There's no, you can't feel it. But looking at it, you can feel the texture almost because you've got the larger and the smaller particles in there. So yeah, I really did like that. I do like it again with the thinner, less pointy, much less pointy. That one is definitely sharper than this one. Crystal. And yeah, so I think if you are going to be making one of the shells, doing it at an angle first and doing the sand in a separate pour, and then 24 hours later doing this, I think works really, really well. So let me know, which one is your favourite? Mother or daughter? I'm torn. I'm really torn. I mean, I like this one because it's very traditional, but glitter, 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 glitter. Let me know what you think. Please take the time to like and subscribe, and if you can share, I'd be really, really appreciative. Any comments, drop them down below. I love speaking to you guys. And yeah, keep crafting and I'll see you soon. Bye.